Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NBA's exciting new video program, All Around Newtown. All Around Newtown is a monthly video series that's put on by the NBA and distributed out to not only the NBA members, but to the community at large in Newtown and in the greater Bucks County area. It's a monthly educational and informative and entertaining video series that will showcase and highlight some of the spectacular people and businesses and organizations and historical spots that make up Newtown and that make it such a great place to live and to work. So this month on All Around Newtown, what we're going to see in a moment is a in-person, on-location interview that we shot with an NBA board member, Scott Fegley of the Fegley Law Firm, interviewing a former NBA member, Mick Petrucci, who actually used to be a president of the NBA in a previous life, as he might say, and he's also a current magisterial district judge in Newtown. So before we get to that exciting interview, what we're going to do is just give you a couple of quick NBA member announcements. So the next NBA member breakfast is on February 25th, on Thursday, February 25th, from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. The sponsor of that will be the First National Bank and Trust of Newtown, and the speaker will be Anu Thomas Esquire. Their presentation will be Building Blocks for a Successful Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program. The next Emerging Leaders Happy Hour will be on Thursday, March 4th from 5 until 6:30 p.m. So invite some of the younger members from your business to come check it out, or if you'd like to check it out yourself, feel free to come and stop by. The next business card exchange will be on Wednesday, March 10th from 5 until 7 p.m. And the next All Around Newtown video featuring yours truly talking about spring lawn and garden tips will air on March 18th at 11 a.m. on Facebook. And then it's also from there going to be posted onto the NBA's YouTube page and also their Instagram IGTV page. Also, I want you to make sure you check out the NBA's Business School podcasts on our website, on the NBA website. And they're also on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. If you'd like to be a part of that, contact Rodney Warner if you're interested in being on a future podcast. You can also opt into text reminders and updates from the NBA by texting the phrase NBA to 1-844-574-6291. You can also find that number on the website. So without any further ado, let's go on location to State Street to the Magisterial District Courthouse, and let's go see that interview.
Hello, Newtown. My name is Scott Fegley. I'm a local attorney practicing here in Bucks County, and it is my privilege today to interview the Honorable Michael Petrucci. Judge Petrucci is the judge of the local Magisterial District Court here in Newtown. For many of you, it may be the first and only experience with the law. So, Judge Petrucci, welcome.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite, and it's a pleasure to be here.
As I just said, it might be the only experience that many people have with the law. So tell us a little bit about the court here in Newtown. What type of cases do you preside over?
Sure. Great question, and you are 100% accurate. For most people, this is the first brush that the public has with the judicial system. So saying that, we do, the bulk of our cases are actually traffic cases. So we handle any and all traffic cases. We also handle civil cases up to a $12,000 limit. We handle all landlord-tenant disputes, whether it's residential and or commercial disputes. And on top of that, we are the first step in all criminal proceedings. So we do preliminary arraignments, we do preliminary hearings, and we also do issue arrest warrants, search warrants, and then on top of all of that, we also have a little fun here sometimes, and we perform wedding ceremonies and oaths of offices. So I've been doing a lot of that lately.
Well, that's quite a range of different services and cases. Let's try to break it down a little
Sure.
bit with the civil cases. Those are pretty much monetary disputes, correct?
Usually, yes, it's typically up to small claims court, up to $12,000. So it's, I see a lot of that in this courtroom.
And in the criminal cases, can you explain what the preliminary arraignments and the preliminary hearings are?
Sure. So the preliminary arraignment, typically a law enforcement agency, your local police, will typically make an arrest for whatever reason. And that person then will go into what's called processing. They will get fingerprinted. They do a background history report on your criminal history. And while all of that is happening, the officers are preparing a probable cause for and the charges for the judge. And nowadays, a lot of the technology that's being used we're doing sight and sound on camera. So the arraignment will actually take place at a booking center. So here in Newtown, anytime somebody gets arrested locally here, you will go to the Northampton Township Booking Center, and I will then do the arraignment, basically telling the person, this is who you're being charged by, what you're being charged with, and then I give them instructions to move the case forward. Basically their preliminary hearing date and time. I ask a series of questions to determine whether or not the person's a flight risk or not. I ask questions based around if the defendant is a harm to themselves and or the community at large. And then, I ask a few other questions if the person's on, bail or out on bail for another case, if there's any other ongoing pending cases. And then I make a determination, whether or not I'm going to incarcerate somebody or do what's commonly referred to as an unsecured bail. And then I will set conditions on the bail too, depending on what type of case it is.
Now here in your court, you also handle the disorderly conduct, underage drinking type cases, is that correct?
Absolutely, and so that would be more typically your summary offense cases. But as far as the underage portion of it, that is my true passion. The reason why I wanted to be a judge, and I don't want to jump all over the place here with your questions, but I am very passionate about the youth in our community. I'm a very big believer in, listen, we're all created equally, but when you're young, you're still learning, and you are sometimes not making the best decision. So my job is to hopefully educate you. Then a portion of it is to give back to the community, and then also not ruin your record as a young person for a simple just one bad mistake. So if you're a nonviolent offender you just had a bad day or you made a bad decision, I want to try to work you through that program so you don't make the same mistake twice. And what I'm most proud about regarding the youth is I did back in 2016, I jump-started the youth aid panel. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. And, and again, the youth aid panel is basically community-based volunteers helping, the youth of our community get through so they don't have to appear in a criminal court system.
Well, let me follow up on that a minute.
Sure.
Then. What is the youth aid panel?
Sure. So it's volunteers from around the community from different walks of life. We have child psychologists on that board. We have teachers on that board. We have people from the law enforcement community as well. And instead of criminally charging a juvenile for a nonviolent first-time offender, they will be enrolled into this youth aid panel, so they will not have any kind of record whatsoever, but they're on a quasi-probation period where you actually do get assigned a volunteer to your case. and that volunteer kind of checks up on the juvenile, on a weekly basis. They make them do community service. They make them go through that whole education component. If it's a drug and alcohol case, for instance, small amount, they will go through, usually the Council of Southeast PA is doing the educational component, and they have to complete certain programs. And then at the end of that period, it might be, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, then the entire file will, upon completion, kind of just disappear in layman's terms, with the hopes that they've learned, the defendant has learned from their actions, and they will never appear in a courtroom like this. So I have worked, that was one of the big things that I wanted to do, and I did accomplish that back in 2016. My only hope is I just don't want people's lives to get ruined for one bad mistake. Second chances are freely handed out around here. So.
Well, that's very nice.
Sure.
That's an excellent program to be involved in.
It is, and I got to tell you, the amount of repeat offenders that I've seen from this program, I can probably count on one hand, because for the most part,
They learn their lesson.
they learn their lesson. Exactly.
Absolutely. A good scare doesn't hurt every now and then, does it?
Exactly.
So what communities does the court serve?
Sure. So my jurisdiction is I have 4 municipalities. I have the borough of Newtown, and then I have the townships of Newtown, Wrightstown, and Upper Makefield. So geographically, it is a large territory, 4 municipalities. I deal with 3 different police departments, and because Newtown Township covers Wrightstown Township, that's why there's 3 departments and 4 municipalities. But it's all of like Bucks County Community College. I get Tyler State Park. I get the Washington Crossing National Cemetery, the Washington Crossing State Park as well. So it's a big landmass, and I simply tell people it's basically the Council Rock North School District is what that encompasses.
Now, for a civil case, can you tell our residents how they would file the complaint if they have a dispute with a neighbor or a contractor or something like that?
Sure, and that's typically, the bulk of the civil cases that I do see. Unfortunately, I do see a lot of neighbor disputes for one reason or another, and I've learned an awful lot about trees.
Trees?
I've learned an awful lot about trees, but I do see that. I see a lot of credit card type cases, for collections. And, again, contractors. So, the contractor dispute is probably the second, biggest docketed, civil case that I do see. So if somebody wants to file a claim against anyone, you can actually do that a couple different ways. There is a website from the state that has all of the latest and greatest updated forms. That is the UJS portal.pacourts.us. Also, there's a website for the County of Bucks, which is buckscounty.org. And, there's the directory to tell you exactly what you're looking for. So both sites are very easily, to get through navigation-wise. And then the old-fashioned way is, and actually what most people prefer to do, they actually stop by my office and they will pick up a hard copy of whatever form it is they do need. And then they will literally just sit in the lobby usually and fill out that form. And you do have to pay for, your day in court. So the clerks will tell you the cost associated with that. And then the plaintiff can decide if they want it to be served by a constable, which is, hand-to-hand, personal service, or you can take the first-class mail route as well.
And it's important for the residents to know it's a simple one-page form. They don't
It
have
is.
to have any special language or know anything complicated about the law. You just simply put down what your gripe is, you pay your fee, and you're going to have your day in court, correct?
You are 100% correct. The most important part of that form is actually if you're looking to to file a claim against whomever it is, whatever the defendant is, we need the proper name and we need the proper address. So whether the constables are going to serve it to the right person at the right address or first class mail, it has to, that's basically the crux of a civil case. You have to have proper service.
So, as an attorney myself, I know I would always like to see people represented in court. What are your feelings on that? Do people need an attorney to come in here and argue a case before you?
Sure, and that's an excellent question that I get asked often, and the simple answer is no. You do not need an attorney. You can represent yourself pro se. However, what I do tell a lot of people that question me about that is I'm the judge. I don't know what's going on until you walk in my courtroom that day to present your case. So he who or she who presents the best evidence, pictures, testimony, witnesses, whatever, will usually be the ones who win. And when a lot of people don't have the general knowledge or understanding of the law, sometimes they just come in and they say, he did this or she did that, and that's my story. And the other person comes in completely prepared. Maybe they've done their homework. Maybe they've brought some other case laws with them. Maybe they've brought better pictures, better evidence, and 3 witnesses with them. So that's what I always tell everybody. Do your homework. If you're not going to be represented by an attorney, do your homework. And then if it's a business dispute, I always tell everybody, just get yourself an attorney, because you do need to, be represented. Your business needs to be represented. And a lot of times I do see that too, where somebody will be sued personally and then their company or corporation will be sued, and the attorneys know how to maneuver around all of that. So I think it's smart when people bring an attorney with them. However, it's not needed at the district court level.
I imagine, like my practice, that there's a large percentage of time that you spend outside of the courtroom with a number of different responsibilities. Can you tell us, what kind of responsibilities are you handling when you don't have the robe on?
So I tell you, it's a lot from me, because I choose to be personally involved within the community and also, stuff in my personal life as well. So, one of the things that I'm absolutely passionate about is, giving back to the community. I do an awful lot of volunteer work for, various charities, local in the area. I try to get out into the community, even if it's just walking up State Street to grab a cup of coffee. People are always stopping me, wanting to ask questions. Sometimes it's like, hey, anything good going on in your courtroom? So I do try to, talk to the people within the community a lot. I do a lot of, volunteer work with, many different organizations. And, I'm a supporter of, just an endless flow of nonprofit organizations, whether it's the Newtown Business Association or the Newtown Rotary Club just recently, the big thing I was involved in was Shop with a Cop. And I'm very proud to be associated with that organization, because we help so many families over the holiday season, get by and make it a better holiday, for the children and their immediate family members.
So tell us about Shop with a Cop then. What is that program?
Sure. Shop with a Cop is a nationwide program, but about 3 years ago, myself and Corporal Paul Deppy from the Newtown Township Police Department decided to join forces. And I've known Corporal Deppy for years. We're both Council Rock graduates, and we decided we wanted to do something good for the community around, the holiday season. And there's other departments within the county that have been doing Shop with a Cop. So we wanted to bring it to the Council Rock School District. So he and I kind of teamed up, and we also kind of joined forces with the Middletown Township Police Department, and we collectively between the Neshaminy School District and the Council Rock School District, this year we helped over 500 families basically have holiday gifts for those in need within our local district, and also we provided food and some other ancillary items. We have people that donate handmade quilts, to keep people warm. We take the children on a shopping spree to a Target on Route 1 in Middletown Township, and every child gets basically a $150 budget. And this year, through the generosity of our community members and a lot of business sponsorships, including the Newtown Business Association, we were actually able to raise about $112,000.
Wow.
So we made a lot of people's holiday just that much better. And it's really for those in need within our community. And the sad part about it is, people hear, like, oh, Council Rock School District, there's no one in need there. Neshaminy School District, no one in need there. So far from true. There are, and we work with the schools as well that's how we get the leads for the organization, is through the actual school and the school programs. But we pretty much work all year long on that Shop with a Cop program.
Well, Your Honor, I know you've had a long history of civic involvement here in the Newtown community. And in fact, you mentioned the Newtown Business Association. You were a long time member,
Sure.
and board member, and past president of the Newtown Business Association. You and I served together for many years.
Yes, we did.
So becoming a judge, though, that kind of changes things a little bit. Can you explain how that's changed in terms of your civic involvement? Because I know there's certain restrictions on judges
Sure.
as to what they can do and cannot do.
Absolutely. So, the first thing when I became judge back in I won the election in 2015. I took office January 4th of 2016. So I've been here now, for a little over 5 years. But up until the day I became judge, I was the president of the Newtown Business Association. And when you are a sitting judge, we have judicial rules of conduct, and we have our canons that we have to basically live our lives by. So one of the things that I can't do any longer is I cannot go out and solicit funds. So therefore, I really can't be the president of the Newtown Business Association any longer, but I still volunteer my time. And I do thank the Business Association for the last 5 years keeping me as an honorary member of the association. And I am very proud about that, and I still support the NBA as much as I possibly can. But even, through my other, civic duties, it's, I can't stand in front of a supermarket on a Saturday morning or afternoon,
Right.
With my hand out for the local food pantry, asking people to make a donation, because even though it may be a box of cereal, it's still considered funds, money. But what I can do is I can show up at the end of the day, load my SUV up, and deliver it to the food pantry. So, stuff like that has kind of shifted, for me over the years, because I can't personally ask anyone for any kind of donation. So I choose not to be, president of this or chairman of that any longer. But I do other things, for a lot of organizations behind the scenes.
Other than the Newtown Business Association, what are some of the organizations that you're involved in?
Sure. So currently today is, besides Shop with a Cop that we just spoke about, I am a proud member of the Newtown Rotary Club, and I've been a member there now for 5 years, and I'm very involved with that organization. And we do a lot of work around the community. Every year we do our annual bike and sewing machine collection, and we just we get 200 plus every year bikes and sewing machines that are donated to the organization, and that's through another national program called Pedals for Progress, and that gets shipped to overseas into other countries in need. We also do just most recently I did a road cleanup. So the Rotary sponsors Richboro Road up like where Tyler Park State Park is. So we do trash cleanup on the road, and we do a charity golf outing every year for Pickering Manor, and we're very proud that that's a great golf outing that we do. But again, I don't help raise any money. I'm kind of
Behind the scenes.
yeah, I'm like a behind the scenes type of person. Right, exactly. And then there's other things that the Rotary's involved in, as far as like helping out at the Newtown Theater, raising money for them over the years, as same way with the Newtown Business Association. So I'm very actively involved with the schools in our district as well. As a matter of fact, I guess it's probably been 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I actually taught a branches of government class at Newtown Elementary School via Zoom, and so I do kind of keep my presence known throughout the schools also, and I do a lot of work like that.
So, do you often speak a lot to groups?
I do. I get a lot of Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops, that will come into the courtroom. I give them a little tour. I speak about my job, who I am. I also speak about the judicial branch of the government. That this is just the first step in the pyramid, and then it kind of goes all the way up. And I actually talk numbers and statistics, with those groups. I do the walking tour that the Newtown Historic Association does every year. And, I also speak to, for, a lot of juvenile programs, drug and alcohol programs. Council Rock has a wonderful program. It's called the Council Rock Coalition of Healthy Youth. And that is, every time there's a drug or alcohol or vaping was a big thing. Right. I kind of dubbed myself as the local expert when it came to vaping, and I've done, countless talks on that. So I really just try to get out, as much as I can to the community, but I do get invited to speak, not necessarily about the law, because I'm not a lawmaker, as
right.
you know.
Right.
I'm just an interpreter of that law. So, I do a lot of, just, around the community, just talking to people about various subjects.
Well, it definitely shows your passion for keeping the youth on the straight and narrow, and keeping their heads in the right places, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the family side.
Sure.
You're married?
I just celebrated my 24-year wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any children?
Yes, I have my oldest is, I have a 21-year-old son, Anthony. He works over at Harvest here in Newtown, and he's going to school right now. Actually, he took some time off because of COVID, but he's at Bucks County Community College going for his small business administration degree. And my daughter, Angela, who's going to be 20 in 2 weeks. My baby is going to be 20.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I know, you're in the same boat. She is at Westchester University studying, to be a school teacher for, early education. So she's in her sophomore year now.
Well, it sounds like the court and all of your civic activities demand so much time, but what do you do for fun, Your Honor?
Listen, I'm no different than anyone else. I do like to have fun from time to time. When the weather's warm, I do like to head down to the shore on the weekends when I'm not on duty. And my passion is I absolutely love to watch a sunset over the bay. And I can just sit there and watch that, until the sun goes all the way down until it's dark. But I love crabbing. I mean, I have crab cages, and I walk down to the dock, and sometimes I catch keepers,
Yeah.
crabs, and sometimes I don't. But I just like being with my family. I like to relax around a fire pit in the backyard, and that's kind of my excitement. So I'm not really that exciting. I'm always moving,
It
though.
says a lot. It's very nice.
Sure.
So what are your personal goals for the future and your goals for the court?
Sure. So, my short-term goal is this is an election year for me. So, I'm hoping to keep my job. I'm working hard at, my reelection campaign. But, other than that, over the next several years, for the court system, we're controlled more at the state level through the AOPC, and then obviously the county level, and we have a president judge. With saying all of that, they kind of, I don't want to use the word dictate, but I have to follow the systems and procedures that they put in place.
Right.
However, locally, I am very active in our Judge Association of Bucks County. I am also the former president. You can only be president for 2 years of that organization. So I served 2 years as president, but currently I'm the vice president. In the last year and a half, I've been working on trying to help reform our night, what we call it our on-call system.
Mm-hmm.
That's nights, weekends, and holidays, because there is an on-call judge always on every 4 hours. So I'm trying to make it so, come up with a system where all of those, everyone who's involved in the night court system, the night duty, we get a better, more efficient system. And I've been working on that with some other judges here in Bucks County for quite some time. So I would like to see some sort of change. I don't know if we're going to get there, though, because again, above my head, there's it's not more or less like I can't do what I want to do at the district court at this level because of the state and the county oversight.
Right.
So.
Well, Your Honor, I can tell you from personal experience, you have a very well-run court here. It's always been a pleasure when I've had the occasion to appear in front of you.
Thank you.
So what would you want to have residents know? Where can they go for information about the court? Let's say, for example, somebody is served with a complaint or somebody has a dispute or anything. What can they expect, and where can they go for information?
Sure. So, if somebody, if you get a traffic citation, hypothetically, it's very simple. When you flip that citation over, there's instructions on there, and it tells you must respond within 10 days, and if you don't, there could be a warrant issued for your arrest for for no response. Now, so if you do get a citation, I tell people, just take care of it right away. You're going to enter your plea, guilty or not guilty. If it's something serious, you can find yourself a local attorney. Again, we do have pamphlets in our lobby from the Bucks County Bar Association. And if you can't afford an attorney, Bucks County also has a legal aid helpline, which we refer people to all of the time. If you get served with a civil complaint, the constables are knocking at your door. Again, you need to respond right away, because if you don't, and there was proper service, to that defendant, then there could be a judgment entered, against you because you did not respond. And, you know, we do a lot of referrals here through our county-given programs, like the Bucks County Bar Association, like the Legal Aid Helpline, like the Council of Southeast PA, you know, if it's a drug and alcohol related case. And, you know, so it's just, you know, if you need information or if you're seeking information, we are prohibited by rule and law to give any legal advice here. I can't give legal advice, but, and neither can my staff. But we can at least direct you into the right, you know, in the right direction. So I hope that answered your question.
It did. Thank you, Your Honor, for your time today.
Sure.
It's always a privilege to get together and speak with you, and I think we provided a lot of information about your court to the Newtown residents today. So thank you very much.
Sure, absolutely, and it's my absolute pleasure, and I'm just happy to see that the NBA is stronger than it's ever been. It's a great, wonderful organization. I thank you for your time, and you know, it's just, I wish everybody the best. Please just stay safe, and we'll all get through this together.